Social media like Facebook and Twitter are banned in China, but China has its equivalent version of those social media such as WeChat and Weibo. Sharing snippets of life and insights in circle of friends on social media has become a daily occurrence for Chinese people, but now they need to be extra careful about their sharing. On August 18, the head coach of a leading Chinese football team made some drunken comments at a dinner party with his friends, which was filmed by a friend sitting across the table and posted to the internet. On the same day, the club where he worked announced that they would suspend all his managerial duties, effective immediately. So what did the team's head coach actually say?
很差，几千块欧元，是吧？进不了球，但是就压力大。你摇下那个队，跟我打，压着打。他2个亿，叫他妈徐正元了，什么乱七八糟，压着打。不懂球没。
对，
哥你
来，
我就是要把
先打来，
打出原形，
就是啥是吧？当龙是
原形，
龙
地位是吧？
哥就是啥？
龙以前什么申花什么上涨，什么几百个亿，什么1000万人民币，中奖第5名，哇啊！
这个厉害，
就让你的脑子干净一点，别他妈瞎搞。
对，
一帮逼样都在搞，
对，他们都在搞，他们不够专业。
你是客人啊！不要就是
上岗，拿个冠军，我在上岗。
Xie is a well-known Chinese football player who played 22 times for the Chinese football national team and scored 9 goals. In 2009, Xie announced his retirement and worked as an assistant coach at Shanghai Shenhua and Shanghai SIPG before starting as the head coach of the Chinese League One team in 2020. What he said at the dinner party was meant to point out that his team's performance showed people that those highly paid coaches didn't actually know anything about football. Despite massive investment, the team's performance was poor and there were shady practices behind some football matches. The mainland netizens commented, "The drunken remarks are not wrong. They are, in reality, facts and truths they dare not say when sober. The national football team is really awful. The Chinese Super League is a major sports league in China with huge profits at stake. Chinese fans tend to regard the national football team's victory or defeat as the country's honor and disgrace when attending international matches." In the face of Xie's speech, some people also commented, Xie Hui is considered to be a truth teller in China's football circle, and there was another truth teller who is no longer in China. This person is Hao Haidong. Hao was elected Chinese Footballer of the Year in 1998 and Chinese top 10 athlete in 2001. He scored 41 goals when he played for the national team from 1992 till 2004 and holds the record for most goals scored to date. He now lives in Spain and is known for his outspokenness. He made a public statement against communism on June 3, 2020.
你们表达深深的敬意，我会永远和你们在一起，消灭中国共产党，消灭 CCP， 消灭中共是正义的需要。中国共产党是危害全人类的一个邪恶的组织。我坚信，我相信。世界自由、民主、法治、文明的社会一定会剔除中国共产党。文明的世界里不应该拥有他们的位置。共产党，你们完了！
In an interview with Hong Kong's Apple Daily overseas in June 2020, Hao mentioned his nearly 30-year athletic career in the country. He said, "In the decade or so since I joined the national team, my perception of the Chinese communist system has become even more bitter. No matter who enters this system, it is hard to escape. Either they will be devoured by it or they will add wings to a tiger." Hao Haidong said that there were many shady practices behind the Chinese football matches, allowing for concession, unspoken rules, fake play, bribing referees, and falsifying. This statement echoes the drunken remarks made by the head coach. The Chinese Communist authorities have blocked Hao in all mainland social media. What's stunning about Shea's incident is that it was a private statement that a friend betrayed. A few years ago, a well-known host on China national television had a similar incident when he entertained a friend by performing at a dinner party in April 2015. He sang while making his own comments.
当兵啊，来到深山，来深山干啥呀？要消灭反动派，能打过人家？改地换天，几十年闹革命南北转啊战，哦，够辛苦的啊！共产党毛主席。 哎，可别提那个老兵，可比我们还苦了。指引我们向前，一颗红星头上戴，革命的红旗挂亮点，这啥大本儿？红旗直出云散，解放区人民都到地主把审判，还地主找你惹你了？人民的军队。 与人民共患难，难道这里为敌视？啪，开扫平为虎山，吹牛逼哟！你录这个。
The host mocked the Communist Party and former Communist Party leader Mao Zedong for making the people suffer. This incident was categorized as a serious violation of political discipline by China's regulatory body, and Bai was later forced to leave China's national TV, CCTV, and was banned. Again, a private remark made public by a so-called friend almost ended the host's career. In August 2021, the Chinese government started banning paid tutoring classes and required them to become non-profit. Media in mainland China reported a story. In the story, a parent asked an acquaintance to refer her twin children to a tutor for 15 days at a cost of RMB 9,000. After the tutorial, the parent reported the teacher to the Education Bureau. The parent quietly recorded the child during the lesson, plus there was a record of the teacher accepting the tutorial fee. The result was that the teacher refunded all the tuition fees and compensated the parent RMB 2,000 in exchange for a letter of understanding. He was disciplined by the local school board as well. More of such snitching is related to the so-called patriotism and nationalism. One of the well-known cases involves two professors at Tsinghua University, China's top academic institution. They were suspended in 2019 after being reported by students for criticizing the CCP in their lectures. Now the snitching fad is getting worse, with stories of all sorts appearing just as the CCP begins to clean up the entertainment industry. On August 13, 2021, a blogger posted that a famous Chinese actor attended a friend's wedding in 2019 at Naki Shrine in Japan, which is dedicated to Japanese soldiers who died in battle. The story quickly spread on the internet, and other netizens dug up a group of such photos where the actor posed in front of the Yasukuni Shrine in Japan, although he apologized on his Weibo account on the 13th, clarifying that he did not enter the Yasukuni Shrine, and he is not pro-Japanese, and he is Chinese. The Chinese Association of Performing Arts said on the afternoon of August 19 that the actor's behavior hurts not only national feelings, but also bring a bad influence on the youth group in his audience. China's national media, the People's Daily, criticized the actor, stating, "As a public figure, the general knowledge of history is so lacking, with little awareness of the national suffering, it is not very good." On August 21, several online platforms in mainland China shelved his film and television works, variety shows, and music works. Many platforms have returned the message that such a person does not exist when searching about him. Some people commented that it only took 4 hours of online trending to bring down a famous actor in an instant. In the public opinion propaganda, the CCP has listed Japan and the US as the #1 enemies of the Chinese people. However, in reality, former Communist Party leader Mao Zedong thanked Japan on several diplomatic occasions for invading China and giving the Communist Party the opportunity to seize power. Before the war, our army had reached 300,000, but due to our own mistakes, it was reduced to more than 20,000. In the middle of the 8-year war, our army grew to 1.2 million. You see, Japan did us a great favor, didn't it? In 1972, on the eve of establishing diplomatic relations between China and Japan, Premier Zhou Enlai announced to waive the rights to demand war compensation from Japan. This news shocked not only Japan, but also the whole world. While there may be nothing wrong with reporting bad behavior, the snitching fad is pretty much based on the standards set by the CCP. In reality, many of the CCP standards are anti-human and anti-universal values. By encouraging snitching, the CCP creates an environment of absolute subservience to the CCP system. A China researcher for the international organization Human Rights Watch told the Voice of America that many people are now telling on their friends, a frightening phenomenon that brings back the memory of the Cultural Revolution. During the incessant political campaigns launched by the CCP, tragedies in which parents, children, husbands and wives, colleagues and friends denounced each other have been abundant. The peak of the development of snitching was during the Cultural Revolution, when some children sent their parents to the guillotine by telling on them. During the June 4 Tiananmen student movement in 1989, the communist authorities planted many informers among the students. Tiananmen Square was filled with informers. When the time came to settle scores, these secret informers came into play and gained political points for themselves. Some of the students easily became professors after they graduated. In traditional Chinese culture, informant behavior or snitching has never been honored. Chinese Confucian culture believes that the basis of being a human being and learning a skill is first to know what is right and wrong in the world, good and evil, right and wrong, and to be able to understand the norms of good and evil. Traditional Chinese moral values also emphasize the preservation of morality, love, and justice among people, and filial piety and fraternity in the family to maintain the stability and peace of the family and society. In ancient China, there was a principle in criminal law that relatives could cover for their families, and that failure to denounce or testify was not a crime, and that active denunciation of one's families and relatives could result in criminal charges. Traditional Chinese friendships are willing to take risks for others or sacrifice oneself for the sake of friendship. Such behaviors are praised and honored. No betrayal of one's friends and family is the basic principle of being human. It is considered the fundamentals of being just and righteous. The ancient Chinese book says, "Propriety, justice, integrity, and honor are the 4 dimensions of the state. When the 4 social bonds are broken, the country is destroyed."